Hello and welcome. Welcome to another Solution Sunday because the soul is the solution. I'm Lisa Warner. I am the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing and creator of Solution Sunday. And today I'm here with my very good friend, Trisha Schmalhofer, who is a sound healer extraordinaire. Trisha, welcome.
Thank you so much, Lisa. It's always just a pleasure to be on your Solution Sundays. We always have such wonderful conversations. Thank you for having me.
It's just so lovely to have like-hearted souls to talk to people that speak the same language, and the language that we speak is the sounds that come out of our vocal cords, out of our mouths, and the sounds that we say shape our universe, and the universe is shaped by sound. In the beginning was the word.
Yes, exactly. I was I have many teachers along my path, but one of them, Christopher Timms, he said, God is sound. And that was the original, and it wasn't, and in the Bible, like you just said, and God said, there was, let there be light, and then light came. But he explained that instead of seeing it as a big bang, see it as a big wave or a big bounce of energy, of sound that goes through the multiverse. And that's creation. That's God. That's all that there is. And I was contemplating that. And lately, I've been really tapping into what I was calling the divine flow, because we have so many waves of energy, just we're bathing in it. It's coming from us, it's coming from each other, it's coming from collective, it's coming from the cosmos, it's all over, emotions and thought forms and all of these waves. And getting into that center, getting into our inner landscape, our core essence, and tapping into not only my personal sound, my personal song, but then there's this divine flow, and I've been feeling it. And that's what it feels like. It's like coming from my heart space. And so I'm starting to see that as this original sound that brought it all into existence.
Uh, I love that. Yeah.
Yes. It sounds so simple, doesn't it?
Right? Like when we're in harmony with the universe, everything is really simple. It's
Mm-hmm.
when we are in discord and dissonance and distortion that things get to be a little tricky.
Do get to be a little tricky. Well, and distortion are waves also. And
Exactly.
even in sound therapy and music, there's dissonant sound. And that's actually part of sound therapy, is sometimes creating dissonant sound waves will break things up.
Mhm.
Doesn't feel really great when it's happening, but it sometimes in our physical body, we have distortions. In our energy body, we have distortions, and sometimes the sound wave coming in has to disrupt that first, kind of mix it up.
Mhm.
And then it's harmony, and then it's synchronicity, and then it's flow. So just allowing.
Exactly. So how did you get into sound healing?
I'm a manual therapist, so I've always worked with my hands. And um I realized that and then my clairaudience came online. My That's the psychic ability of hearing spirit, or hearing things that aren't in the normal range of human hearing. And that was probably maybe about 11 years ago. And so I was starting to hear sound come out of the body. I was starting to hear the body talk to me as I'm working with people. And so I often say that I'm a body whisperer, or I'm just a really good listener, because the body is always talking to us. So the actual sound, the instruments, I don't have any, well, I have a little training, but I've always just dabbled, just with different instruments. I maybe took a few classes here and there. I've done some voice lessons over the years. But about a year ago, I was talking to one of my good friends and happened to mention, the gong is really kind of coming into my path, and I'm thinking I want to get one because it's interesting. And she said, well, okay, and sends me a link to this gong that was on sale on this website, and like right away. And so I got the gong and just started playing it, and it's actually teaching me how to play it.
Mm.
I was sitting with it. I had a few mallets, like with this particular, with gongs in general, they're made out of metal, and metal is a transmitter right there, transmits
Sure.
all kinds of things.
Yep.
And how you play it, the different mallets, like here's 3 different ones,
Wow.
I would just start playing, and then I would go online and find some new ones, and then I started playing with other people and they were showing me different things, but really no one else was playing the gong in my area at the time. Now all kinds of people are playing it. But with the gong, a lot of people automatically think of ancient times. The gong's been around for thousands of years, and it started in China. That was the original culture that started using it. And their way of announcing was, the typical bong, what everyone always thinks of the gong is just one hit, boom, let it go out to announce. However, there are so many sounds that can come out of the gong, like you will see in a little while. There's friction mallets that you rub against it. There's soft mallets that hit a little bit. You can't hear the hit, and then there's more solid ones. So I really just started playing, and it started talking to me. And then I would be on the phone in front of it, and I could hear it making sounds, making noises.
Wow.
And it really just started waking this whole idea of vibration
Mhm.
is really how everything communicates. Everything's always moving. Everything's always making a sound, whether we can hear it or not. And that's why we entitled this The Language of the Universe, because sound waves are literally how we send out prayers, we send out intentions, we send out, whether we're voicing it or not, whether it's actually coming from our voice or coming from an instrument or coming from our bodies, our hands, we're clapping for someone. That's sound waves, supporting them, encouraging them. Drums and rattles. I mean, you look across the cultures, there's hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of different kinds of instruments that make noise. You can take a bucket that you would clean your bathroom with and a broom handle and be able to make sound out of it.
Mhm.
And so it really there. So did I answer your question? I've always worked with sound without even realizing it, but the gong really was my portal, literally and figuratively, into the world of sound as therapy, sound as medicine.
Wow, I love that. I remember, when I moved back to Lake Placid, we have a summer symphony orchestra that plays for 6 weeks.
Mm.
And I got, I had tickets, so I went every Sunday night. And I sat, and as the orchestra played, I could close my eyes and I would just feel the vibration of all of those notes. And I would just notice the molecules in my body. And I'd allow the vibration to rearrange the molecules to start bringing harmony to my body. So that was like my immersive sound therapy. It was when I first really started to listen to frequency and like see the notes. I would see things playing in with my non-physical vision,
Yeah.
and it was beautiful.
Yes. And, we, through our growing up, we have songs that we always kind of gravitated towards, and it helped us work through emotions, as we're growing up, or especially the teen years, like with all of the hormones and the emotions all hitting us. It's like, "Wah." So we would play. I mean, I had certain songs that I'd play over and over and over again. And it was balancing me. The orchestra is such a beautiful way of looking at sound, because you have so many instruments in one place, and when they're all playing together in harmony, it just creates this beautiful wave. And like you said, sometimes when you close your eyes, you actually see the colors, because even colors are frequency,
Exactly.
colors are wavelengths. And sometimes other images, you can feel it. I know with the gong, like that's why it's such a powerful healing tool, because it has a large range of harmonics that actually you can feel in the tissue. You can feel it vibrating in the body. And when you're in an orchestra with all of that just flowing through like water, it's like waves of water
Mhm.
flooding you and just allowing it to flush and balance and harmonize. And sometimes I would, when I'm in an orchestra, like watching, I'll hone in on one instrument. Like I'll look at the violinist, the main violinist, and you can do that. You can tap into that one wave and isolate it
Yes.
and just feel that. And you're reminding me of I do something called craniosacral therapy, where we're working with the symphony of the body. We're working with the fascia, which is the web of the body, and all the fluids and all the systems. And one of the ways of looking at that is the body is a symphony. Everything is resonating and has its own frequency and sound. Every cell, every organ, the fascia itself. And when I'm working on the body, sometimes I'll like zoom out and witness the symphony, witness everything in one big whole being, just harmonizing and working together and healing itself, basically. And then sometimes the body will pull me into one specific thing. Maybe it's the liver, or maybe it's even like the right aortic valve of the heart, something very specific.
Mhm.
Just like in that symphony orchestra,
Mhm.
you can also hone into that one particular piece of the body and work with that sound wave or that vibrational wave. And it's beautiful when we look at life as a model, the model of this symphony, of this orchestra, of every human being having their own sound.
Mhm.
And when you're in a group and everyone's sound waves are just harmonizing together, and you get that feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm in my tribe, like I'm home, these are my people.
Yeah.
And whether it's just sitting around a fire or in a choir or whatever, or if it's just two friends in a cafe having coffee, and it could be this beautiful music.
I love that. I mean, it really is. We're in this crazy world that we live in. We're really discouraged from a young age of, like really speaking or singing our soul song. So many people they want to come in, they want to be a singer, they want to be an artist, or they want to be a poet, and they're told, you're never going to make any money at that. You have to go get a real job. And it's like, oh,
Mhm.
wow, I have to go do something that I don't like to make money instead. And then what I do love, like, gets kind of pushed off to the side. And all of a sudden, we're not in harmony anymore.
Mhm.
We're trying to fit ourselves into an orchestra that that we're not meant to play with.
Mhm. And I think, I believe in the human soul. I believe that
Yes.
the soul will express itself. So even if someone has a path where they were discouraged by their parents to, get that job as a lawyer, work for that corporation, to succeed, even clientele, I have a lot of engineers and real science minded people that come to see me, and almost all of them have uh they also do music. They also create through sound and music, and some of them art and writing, because they do realize that that is how the soul does express itself in this existence, in this reality. So we can have both. I know a lot of people that have like a day job, they have their secure job and then they have their creative outlets.
Yeah.
So, the soul finds a way. And those that do take on sound or art, or some of the more creative careers as their full-time career, a lot of them get to a point in their career where they have to make a decision. It's like, am I creating because this is what's coming through me, or do I need to start creating because this is what's going to sell?
Right.
And it's a thing. It's a decision that's made. And some of the artists I know kind of do both. They're like, okay, this is to put food on my table,
Mm.
but this is my soul expression. And so, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, we
Yeah. It's
well
like,
go ahead. Go ahead.
like when we're not expressing our soul, we tend to start shutting down, and the body starts to shut down, and
Mhm.
it's not working in harmony anymore. We are body, mind, and soul. We are soul first and foremost. And
Mhm.
if we're doing things in life that we don't enjoy doing, that we're only doing it to put money on the put food on the table, and we don't enjoy doing it, our bodies will let us know, and our bodies start to suffer when we're not singing in harmony with our soul song.
Mhm.
So we've
Mhm.
all been kind of taught that there's something wrong with us, there's something wrong with our bodies, but it's really, we're just not in harmony within ourselves. We're not singing the song that we're meant to sing.
Right. I have if I work on someone that's like a full-time mom, like that's her job. Like
Mhm.
she is here to be a mom and to raise her children to be the best human being she can, but she has a soul
Important
song
job.
too. It's the most important job. It's,
Exactly.
like my friend says, you have to be a manager, a chauffeur, a financial planner, a cook, you have to do all of it.
Yeah.
And so but their time is just taken up with that full-time job. And so I'll say, well, sit and play with the kids. Like, make music with them. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just get into their space, because as children are very in flow. They'll just pick up instruments and just start playing, and they're not thinking, oh, does this sound right? Or, it's like they're just in it. Their little souls are just, phew, here we are. So I'll often say, like, if you don't have time to have a hobby, some people, have a lot on their plate. And if you don't have time to have a hobby, to go take a painting class, and you have kids, like, just sit with them and finger paint with them, or just, bang on some pots and pans with them. and just be in that, and in that have that intention of, this is my soul expressing itself. And sometimes it's like you revert back to being a little kid. That's why I love being around children, because it gives me permission, like, oh, I'm little Trisha again, you know. So there's always a way, even if we choose a life path that may not be our ideal expression of our soul, there's always ways to allow that soul expression to happen. But we have to set that intention and make it a priority of, this is my time to just let it flow.
Yeah. So what happens if somebody doesn't know what their soul song really is? What if they've gotten kind of lost?
You know, I'll speak to that, because um when I found body work, that was not my first career. You know, I went to college, I had worked in all these different places. And then finally, it was like, I'm going to go to massage school. And I told my parents, and they're like, massage school? And they were like, well, you just have your college degree. You know, why do you need to go back to school? And at the time, there were still massage parlors, right? So, of course, that's what they went to. And I'm like, no, 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 it's different than that. So that was the beginning of my soul song, because as soon as I put my hands on a body, I was like, something in me just clicked.
Wow.
But then it's like, I got into work mode. I was getting fulfilled, but I still was like, okay, but I still gotta, pay the bills. I still gotta be successful. I still gotta run this business. And then recently, I'd say in the last few years, I got to a point where I was like, am I really expressing who I am without the concern of making money, without the concern, are people going to like this? And as I started doing different kinds of other therapies, energy therapy, starting to explore vibrational medicine, started picking up instruments, and especially the gong, and just playing, just realizing, like, what is my soul song? How do I want to present in the world without those limitations of how is it going to be perceived? And I'm discovering, really, truly, the deeper I go, what my soul song is. And it's always been there. I've always heard it, but I had to get more still. I had to give myself permission to just be, and then allow it to come out, whether it's singing around my house, whether it's just picking up some paints and getting a piece of paper and just letting it flow out. Because I've taken art classes. I'm actually quite a good artist. I can make something look exactly like it looks, every detail. But that's wasn't my soul song. That's me being able to transfer this image onto this paper.
Yeah.
But just sitting with paper or a wall or whatever, and just getting, what color do I feel? What color is inside? Oh, it's orange. Let's put it there. Okay, that looks kind of cool. What do I want to do now? So even though we're getting off on colors and art, it's all sound to me.
Of frequency and vibration.
All frequency and vibration. Everything is frequency and vibration. And there's a quote, and I'm not sure who said it, but sound is energy transferred through vibration. So sound is vibration. It's just the sound that comes out of the gong or my rattle or drum or whatever is in the frequency that my ears can hear.
Mm-hmm.
But there's sounds, lots of sounds. And some people would even say colors have sound,
Mm-hmm.
that just the regular human range of hearing may not hear. But we have extrasensory perceptions that are coming online more and more for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of my role now moving forward in my life is to assist people in that transition of, it's okay that you're seeing these things, or it's okay you're hearing noises that aren't there. because it's coming from another place. You're able to hear on a wider range. And this is the true human condition. These things are waking up in us. They're turning back on. They were on before.
Mhm.
They're turning back on. Sound has been in history for probably since the beginning of time, when someone just maybe banged two rocks together, oh, there's sound. And the beautiful thing about sound therapy is we really just have to sit and receive and open up and allow. That's it. When we're listening to the birds singing, or to the gong playing, or to our loved one talking in the other room, and it has that beautiful vibration, it's just receive it. Just be in that present moment, witness it, receive it. And that right there gets you in your body. It gets you in this present moment. It's your soul experiencing and bringing it into the physical. And that's really important, to have those two connected.
Exactly. We've really been taught that the soul is off somewhere else, and it's not front and center in our awareness.
Yes.
But it really needs to be, because it's the core essence of who we are.
It is. And the body is hosting us. If we look at this, our soul is, a piece of the divine. However you want to define soul. There's so many definitions, but how I look at it is it's a piece of the divine having an experience in this beautiful physical temple that is part of nature. The body is earth. It is part of this planet. It came from there, we'll go back to there. It upholds the same rules and cycles that everything else in nature does. And our beautiful soul is here to experience itself through this physical body. So what I teach with Tantra and the Taoist approach is the body's the gateway. That if we are in our body, feeling the pleasures, feeling the sensations, even feeling the not so nice things, it's still being with that and realizing that's just vibration. That's just energy that this physical body is interpreting. And then the soul is taking it in. And I almost see it, it's like it's sending it back up. Like, here's the experience, isn't it
Right.
beautiful? And, the body's the gateway. It's not to be just tossed aside. It's not to be looked at and be angry with it. It's really, I see it as a conscious being that communicates with us. It has a language, and it lets us know when something's not right.
Exactly.
And then, we interpret that. And then we haven't even talked about the mind, and that's a whole nother topic, because the mind's what interprets everything, right? And records it, figures it out. But it's really that relationship, our relationships with our body, our relationship with our soul, our relationship with nature, with each other. It's about harmony. It's about giving and receiving these vibrations. And it's all medicine. It's all good.
Exactly. And that really is the crux of it, is harmony. We are here to restore harmony to this beautiful planet that has been living in a state of disharmony for a long time, for hundreds of thousands of years. We have been really disconnected from each other, from the planet, divide, conquer, separate, and it just causes all kinds of disharmony. And so now it's the time for us to restore harmony to this beautiful planet.
Yes. And I'm glad you're saying restore, because it wasn't always that way.
Exactly.
There was a time where humans did live in harmony with nature all through the time periods of Earth. And, there's some that say, Earth's had different iterations of existence. And that's this beautiful thing that's happening now is we're opening up and we're remembering. We're
Yes.
remembering what's already, it's been there all along, but we have memory of other lifetimes or timelines that we're in. We do remember what it used to be like, what that we could talk telepathically, because again, wavelengths, it's a type of sound that's transmitted. You can hear someone else's thoughts. Nature does that all the time. There's communication happening all the time around us. And so,
Exactly.
and our now, like we were saying, people are waking up. There's extrasensory perceptions are like coming online, or they're getting stronger, because this is the natural state that we used to be in. And yes, over time, the collective had to go through their cycles of the dissonance, of the separation, of picking things apart, and you're here and you're here, and that's polarity. It's like really sinking into that good, bad, light, dark. You're here, I'm here. No, we can't have you communicate. Woman, you're over there. Man, you're over here. And that's just not our natural state. So we are reclaiming that. We're remembering and reclaiming that this is who we are. Is who we are.
Exactly. When we if we grew up just out in nature,
Mm-hmm.
we would learn how to communicate with all of the plants, all of the animals. We'd be able to read the seasons. We would know when to plant, when to harvest. You know, it's completely natural for us. But
Totally.
we have been taken out of that setting, put in schools, put in jobs, put in skyscrapers, living in cities,
Mm-hmm.
and we have forgotten how to listen to those really subtle vibrations that are the language of the plants and of the animals. And so it's beautiful that we're starting to learn how to get quiet again and listen and bring ourselves back into harmony.
Yes. We live on a noisy planet.
Yes, very.
And when we're out in nature, we can hear the symphony of nature, but many of us live in the middle of neighborhoods or cities, and there's sounds everywhere. And humans, we're creating our own sounds, and not all of them are dissonant. Like sometimes I'll do a meditation on my front porch, and I'll just be listening to the sounds. And in my mind, I'm like, every sound I hear is medicine. I'm turning it into medicine because it's sound waves. So a car will go by, and that's a man-made sound. Airplane goes by. And what I always say in my head is, thank you for this sound medicine, because what that airplane going overhead reminds me of travel. It's like now I can get in an airplane and in a few hours be totally across the country. So it's not all bad.
Right.
It's just how we look at it. So yes, a lot of the sounds that humans make through their creations, through their machinery, or even through the internet. The internet is all wavelengths, and so that's also sound waves. So we have all kinds of sound waves like traveling through the air now with Wi-Fi and all of that. But again, I'm responsible for this. And so I'm getting these waves of energy coming in and coming out of me, and I can choose. I can choose how I view it and how I process it. And I can choose to say, okay, that wavelength coming from that Wi-Fi box is harmful to me. It's dissonant to me. Then that's what's going to happen.
Yes.
If I'm saying, you know what, that's just another wavelength, body, let's adjust to this. Let's adjust to this. And see it as just, it's another creation that has a wavelength. And yeah, that's just, I'm choosing to see the world as my ally, as all of these sounds, all of these frequencies that are coming in. When it gets overwhelming, I may have to go out into nature for a little while. I may have to take a retreat just to detox and be like, okay, that was a lot of adjusting. Like, now let me get out there and like, let's cleanse. People will do, you hear people doing like tech detox days where they don't pick up their phone or they don't plug in, or they will go out into, the woods and stay overnight and let the body just detox and let just the nature sounds or the wavelengths, the song within, to be playing. So yeah, it's choices. And I don't think we have to adapt, and we have to be resilient and choose that every day. Choose that. And then if a dissonant wave does come in, whether it's a song that you hear on the radio, it's like, oh no, I don't like that one, or someone's saying something that's wrong, or you're trying to meditate and there goes your neighbor's lawnmower going off. It's like sometimes that dissonant energy may be what you're calling in to try to shift something. So saying thank you, I'm good, message received. Got the message, got the medicine. Yeah.
Exactly. Wow,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. So one of the most powerful meditations that I've experienced so far is going within, getting really quiet and noticing the moment of my creation as a being of light. And all I saw was a star, like me as a star, like in the heavens. And the more I focused on that and just noticed my light, suddenly I could hear the sound that I made. And it was not just one note, but it was a whole symphony of frequencies. And as I noticed that sound, I suddenly noticed all the other stars around, and we're all communicating, all with this frequency. And suddenly I realized what the sound of the spheres is, what that means, that we all have our own unique frequencies, and communication happens on those frequencies. And it's so beautiful.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That's reminding me of a meditation, or maybe it was a journey that I did. And I was working with the angelic realm at the time. And, people always say when they work with angels, they hear singing a lot. It's like it's this beautiful sound. And I got pulled out into the cosmos and turned around, and the earth was there, and I could hear the song of the planet. And the angels were like, this is what we hear.
Yeah.
And we said, that sound is the language of the multiverse. And that's exactly it. I believe that, cosmic beings, light beings, that is how we identify each other. That is how, it's like Earth isn't just this ball of rock with people and buildings. It's this symphony of sound.
A living being,
A
yes.
living being with its own soul sound.
Yep.
And then all of the expressions of the planets, the nature, and then all of those that inhabit on it add to the sound. So the earth itself has its own unique soul sound, just like we do. But then the collective also has a sound, just like collective humanity has its own song. So, maybe we can, as I play the gong today, this just came in, we're going to receive these wavelengths, because the gong will get everything organized in our body. But why don't we also intend for the human collective to receive the sounds of the gong today, to smooth out the song of all of us as a collective? Or we can even just say the planetary collective. Why don't we just go there? Why don't even we just go further?
Oh, yeah.
About our solar system or galaxy all has its own collective songs too.
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, yeah, so the gong, like I was saying, has a very wide range of frequency. So it can get very deep into the cells, and it can also work with our biofield or our auras. And it has this particular size has a 40-foot reach.
Wow.
So it can go far as physical presence, but a sound wave can just keep going and going and going. So when I do play today, I want everyone, because even through the computer, the sound waves will go through the technosphere, and you still should be able to feel it in the physical body. And when you do feel it, actually imagine those wavelengths sorting out and harmonizing your whole being. So your soul song can get emitted out in the most perfect, beautiful way, without any dissonance, without any distortion. And there was something else, but it just left me. So maybe that's it.
So I think we're ready for beautiful sound bath.
Yeah. So everyone, just close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. And I'm going to have to get a little adjusted here. And with each breath, just for a minute, just listen to the sounds around you. Maybe you can hear your heartbeat. Maybe you can hear the hum of your computer. Maybe you have a little furry family member in the room making a noise. Maybe you can hear sounds from outside. Just tap into all the sound medicine around you in your space. And then take a deep breath and embody those sounds. This is your external music blending with your internal song. Being fully present, embodied souls.
That was beautiful, Trisha. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thanks to the gong.
Yes.
It's really amazing the presence that this has. It's almost its own being.
Mhm.
I would even say it is. It's just, it's a portal.
Mhm.
Anything round is a portal, it's a gateway. But I feel like sometimes there's actual sounds that's coming through it, and I'm just bringing it in. And then sometimes it goes the other way. It's like I'm sending this prayer intention out, and it's going out into the cosmos. So I feel like this is a gateway to help us create sound, not only out to help us heal, but also in to the whole
Yeah.
field. So
I mean, I could just feel all the molecules in my body responding. It was like my body just wanted to kind of reshape itself, bringing everything back into original alignment.
good. You could feel that.
Oh, for sure.
Good.
Yes.
I'm interested to hear other people's comments as they watch it. Please leave a comment and let us know if you too felt anything and what it is you did feel in the body. Because that's what happens. It's called entrainment, is the actual term, where the highest vibration of the collective, whether it's the body or a group, it's if you have something like this that's sending that wave in it, everything just starts to vibrate to that highest vibration. So feeling those cells just go into place.
Exactly. It was very powerful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It is my pleasure. I feel honored that I am the keeper of this beautiful piece, and that we have a good relationship. That we are doing this together is how I see. So I'm just so grateful to be on your show, your podcast again, to share my gifts to the world, and encourage people that, healing can be easy. Like that was easy, wasn't it?
Right?
Just receiving, just opening up and ready to be in alignment. It's like I'm receiving this sound. Allow the sound to do what it's meant to do.
Yes. And now you do these in person as well, don't you? You
Do these in person, and I also am starting to do more virtually, for groups, for businesses. It can transmit through the technosphere, but yes, I do group sound baths, and healings and retreats. A lot of people, adding a gong to a retreat is a wonderful addition to the morning meditation, or an evening sound bath right before bed. So I would love to do more of that, of be on retreat teams and add that. I live in Palm Bay, Florida, and I do host people here for their own individual retreats, or couples in my home. And there's lots of places to stay. Who doesn't want to come to Florida? I mean, we got the ocean right there. Talk about like waves. I mean, that's just healing right there. But my website is medhealers.com. And my email is medhealers with an S, info, like information, at gmail.com. And you can get in touch with me in either of those spaces. And my name's Trisha, and I go by SoulFire. That's kind of like my spiritual name. And yeah, I also do a lot of intuitive work and hands-on healing work. I do a lot of stuff, kind of like
awesome.
you do, Lisa.
And I think that Trisha and I will be doing many things together coming up in the very near future, and maybe some in-person retreats here in the Adirondack Mountains or down there in Florida.
That's
And
right. We live in beautiful spaces
yeah,
full of nature sounds. And yeah, and in person is lovely. I mean, doing virtual works, but having like actual touch, actual presence in person, there's something very magical about engaging the physical body, together. So,
exactly.
okay.
Where two or more are gathered together, magic happens.
It is true. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. And so it is.
And so it is. Trisha, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us such a beautiful example of sound baths and how powerful that gong is in helping us to bring all of our molecules back into harmony.
Yep. Back into harmony, coherence. Thank you so much, Lisa. Have
Thank
me
you,
on again
Trisha.
soon, please.
We will do that for sure. Thank you so much. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us for another Soulution Sunday, because the soul is the solution. Pay attention to your soul. It has its own song, it has its own frequency, and you are here to express that and be that. And it feels great when you're doing that.
Mm,
So do what you love.
do what you love.
All right. Until next week, create for yourselves a great week. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lisa Warner. I'm the author of The Simplicity of Self-Healing, and you can find more about me at connectingyoutoyou.com. See you next week.